You're Perp back with another video, and with Evil Dead Rise out, and it's getting a lot of praise. Some people are mixed, some people not really feeling the movie, but me, I am really fascinated by this whole franchise, and I'm excited to see where it goes. And I want to kind of talk about exactly just that. What is next for the Evil Dead in the franchise? There was this interesting interview on Collider with the director Lee Cronin, and I'll put a link in the description if you want to check out the full clip. But he says some interesting things. I'm gonna let that run, and then I'm gonna give you my thoughts on everything. And there's some things that I don't see a lot of people talking about, and where, certain things can fall. And, I'm just gonna let the clip play, and then I'll just give you my thoughts afterwards, and y'all just let me know how you guys feel about it.
Wanted to talk about the three Necronomicons, because I know you've mentioned that each one has a different personality. So, just in your mind, for your own headcanon right now, can you give us kind of like the 101 of each book and what makes it different in terms of its personality?
Well, yeah, I think Sam's book was the original, right? And there was something very basic, like as in the very beginnings and the origins of what it was. And then Fede's book, I think, showed a certain brutality in kind of the way it's designed and the way it's looked. And it had a methodology behind it also, in terms of giving a guidance to the amount of innocence that's taken, and how that might bring rise to something into the world. This book to me is one that has a certain amount of character and a little bit of life to it, in the sense that it actually activates, it moves, it drinks a little bit of blood. And I think each one of the books, I kind of look at them almost like Gospels in the Bible. It's like the same story told slightly different way by a different person. And who knows, maybe there's a fourth book out there. I think it's possible, because all of these books exist in the same world. To me, there is a timeline that's linear from Sam's first story all the way through to this. It's just happened to different people in different places with different books.
Because I'm upset that you had given, where you said something like, you were focused on making one good movie, but there were like four different like unexplored corners that could lead to future stories within what you have created here. I guess one would be Beth and Cassie getting away. Another would be the Necronomicon being left behind. Can you hint at what the other two are?
Yeah, well, we've also got what happens out at the lake, because as you look at this story, the beginning that you see is actually the end of the movie, right? So what happens out at that lake could continue. Like, fresh people could show up at that cabin not knowing the carnage that just took place there. So that's another pathway that interests me. And then one that I really like is the story of what happened with the priests back in the past. One priest versus 100 Deadites. I'd like to see that movie.
So there you have it. That was Lee Cronin talking about the potential of what he wants to do, and just talking about the Necronomicons. Because I even said that too, that all these movies are connected in some type of way, but it's kind of set up like an anthology. And I like the breakdowns of the different Necronomicons and what they could possibly do. And maybe there's more of these different books out there, and people can just stumble upon it. But there is something interesting within Evil Dead Rise that I don't see a lot of people talk about, in the way that I'm going to kind of break it down. As far as the eyes, a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of these eyes, but I feel like this is done on purpose, because you look at Ellie at the top, right, and she has white eyes. She's the only one with white eyes. Mia has the same kind of eyes as Bridget over here. That yellowish, orange kind of look to it. And maybe whoever is, was possessing Ellie, is a very powerful demon or entity or deadite. And I forget I think they call it the Marauder, yeah. So this deadite is very different. And if you look at the eyes of Rebecca over here, because if you when you see the movie, that's where it opens and how it ends with this character. And she has slightly white eyes. I know it's kind of hard to see in this picture, so it might be the same deadite that was possessing Ellie in Rebecca. And I like the idea of, you know, somebody coming to that cabin, and we get all these new characters, and maybe in that movie everybody actually dies, and this Deadite is going on like a witch hunt, or is looking for Beth and Cassie to finish the job. You know what I'm saying? That's one kind of way I'm looking at what they could do with this movie. I also like the idea of him going in the past, you know, because they talk about the priests and how the priests had to fight all these Deadites and stuff. Like, I would be down to see a priest taking down like 100 Deadites, and I'm wondering if they're leaving the remake off the table. I don't think they are, though. I think that 2013's Evil Dead has such a cult kind of following. Like, a lot of people love it, some people hate it, which is really odd, but I could definitely see a scenario where they are going to try to bring Mia into this, and we have all these different characters. I definitely expect to see, if we do go back with Beth and Cassie, there's going to be a pretty significant time skip. We'll probably see her with the baby and stuff like that, or maybe she'll be pregnant, I don't know, but I would rather see her with the baby and stuff like that. And I don't think that Beth is going to be the very final girl. Like I said, I could see her possibly being unalived, and it's probably going to be Cassie and whoever the baby is, if it's a boy or a girl, and they meet up with Mia. The possibilities are endless. And, you know, in Army of Darkness, they introduced time travel in some capacity, but, you know, I would say never for Ash to kind of pop up in one of these newer movies. But I kind of like the way that it's set up now, to where it's kind of like an anthology, but it's connected in a way. That's just kind of my 2 cents about it. Let me know how you guys feel about what was like talked about in this whole entire video. Where would you like to see Evil Dead go after Rise, and what kind of setting would you want to like see? I don't think we're ever going to go back to a cabin setting, unless if they do pick up where the last movie left off. So like I said, they can go anywhere with this, really. But yeah, that's just my quick little video about this. Let me know how you guys feel about it in the comments below. Until next time, I'm out.